Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to begin our virtual experience through the Middle Ages. You should have this slideshow open with me as we go through this awesome experience. The link is going to be in Class Dojo, so you can look at it now and for the future. You might always want to come back and look at this. Okay, so let's get started. Welcome to medieval Europe. Are you ready for a virtual experience of this civilization? Here are the directions. You're going to start PowerPoint in slideshow mode. Simply click on the objects to each slide to interact with them. When you are finished clicking on the objects, click the next slide button located on the bottom right of the screen. See right here? All right, let's get started. Okay, so early Middle Ages, medieval Europe. Let's take a look at the scenery. What do you see? What is this object? What do you think it's used for? What are you imagining? And where do you think this picture was taken? Clearly it was Europe. But think of a country that you think this scenery would look like. Okay, so go ahead, think about the questions that I just said, and just look at every little detail in this picture. So what is this object? Right? What do you think it's used for? Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple more seconds to think of some ideas, and then I will share what I see in this scenery. Okay, so first I see a tower, right? And it probably belongs to a castle, I'm assuming. I'm imagining that there's a castle behind here of a very important king or queen in this era. And they probably use this tower to look out during crusades or to use as shelter, right? There's a door here and there's windows on each level. I'm kind of imagining there's, like a spiral staircase. I'm thinking about farming, right? Look at all this land in the back here. This is a beautiful picture, right? So I'm thinking about all the farming, right? Because, that was their main source of food, hunting and farming, the crops that they were growing and the animals that they were hunting to eat. So, those are just a few ideas that I'm thinking about in this scenery. But let's move on. So I'm going to click on the manor here and read along as I read this out loud. The Middle Ages began with the collapse of the Roman Empire. Rome collapsed during a 1,000-year period. Small kingdoms fought each other during this time. Germanic tribes that dominated Europe after the fall of Rome lived in small communities and preferred that style of living instead of one big empire. There was no large trade system of government. So, small kingdoms fought each other during this time. So this tower is very essential to them. I'm sure they used it for a lookout and shelter, like I said before. And then once they dominated Europe after the fall of Rome, they lived in small communities now. So I'm kind of thinking that let's go back. So I'm kind of thinking that this over here in the background is just a small community, right? And it's probably like a farming community, a lot of people who do farming and such. But going back to this picture, I'm curious, what can you infer from the text? Which lifestyle do you prefer, a small community or a big community? And I'm just curious, what are you excited to learn about in the medieval era? See you guys next time.